Like all poets, nearly all poets of a certain age, I tend towards the memoir. But I've done my best to curb that impulse, and I've actually taken a lot of my life that I've tried to write differently about it if I can. But I'm going to start with a poem which is based in a memory of where I was brought up, which wasn't that far from here. It was Fareham. We owned a house in Fareham for a very long time. And Fareham at that time was a tiny town of 10,000 people. And it's now joined up with Southampton and the A27 and Portsmouth, and it's unrecognisable. But in those days, when I was a little girl, there were water meadows where there's now a great big estate. However, this is called Water Meadows. Across a grey highway, open, clanging metal gate, swim through gold ocean, climb on wooden stile, intrepid footsteps, daisy petals, telltale dung. Squat by green water, tiddlers swarming over stones, nets scooping in shallows, shaded shallows, toad under twiggy elbow, dragon in a dream. A yellow meadow, creatures hidden in dark stream, the curiosity of cows. And some of my poems sort of verge on the surreal, but they're usually based in something that's actually happened. I became an art teacher, and this is called Midsummer in the Art Room. This morning I run the gauntlet of dripping lavender, the petunias glad after last night's storm, the sky empty grey, sports days postponed. I'm condemned to mix paste in my plastic cauldron, help turn out facsimiles of cupcakes for giants, baguettes for ogres, cans of Coke 4 feet high. Then, with an army of chattering elves, I'm making faces and masks to hide them in. In company with fairies, I transmute shoes into animals, trainers into volcanoes. At home, waking from an exhausted daydream, I fall in love with the memory of a papier-mâché donkey whose ears we made in cardboard today. And collecting Oberon from the station, I'm recreated as Titania. My prince chants his spell, works his magic, and produces salmon, coleslaw, potato salad, and a glass of orange juice with bits in it. I dream quite a bit, and if you do that, you tend to sometimes find yourself writing poems about your dreams. This is called Fly, Love, Fly. In the dream, you are my daughter, not my mother. I lead you on a narrow path above the sea. At my shoulder, a sheer cliff. Below, a deep ravine. You are not afraid. You laugh, run ahead. I give chase, catch your hand, try to lead you to a safer place. Your hand shifts, becomes fish, flipper, slips. You fall slowly into air. In the dream, you are my daughter, not my mother, which is why I call out to you from the path, spread your arms out, love, and fly. Here's an imaginary, not a dystopia exactly, it's a kind of science fiction thingy. Only the best. This would be no picnic, they told us, no summer break, no round trip, no going back. Frosted in the hold, we lay like monuments to ourselves, the life support cables dangling above, ready for instant automatic connection in the event of sudden temperature rise. Our mute faces lay under spectroglass visors. The children
clutching teddy bears, Buzz Lightyears, Barbies. Our adult skulls were full of frozen thoughts and snapshots of excited anticipation. Did the ship drone, hum, roar? Did it buck and yaw on astral winds? Dip into deep space troughs, spiral dizzily through Saturn's rings, on the way out of the sun's safe haven? Only the distressed panels of its hull gave us clues, as unsteadily we disembarked on the arms of the welcome stewards. Only the children were not sombre when they saw the town. They held up their teddies, their Buzz Lightyears, their Barbies. "Look!" they cried, as we surveyed the fourth bridge, towering next to the pyramids of Giza. The Amazon lined with skyscrapers from Manhattan. The Sydney Opera House proudly rising next to the Leaning Tower of Pisa. "We only imported the best, the biggest," the steward said. And we stood there and wept for our suburban streets. Another thing about my life is painting. It's been going on, well, since I was about 4, I suppose. And I'm still doing it when I can. I've gone back to it recently in a fairly big way. This is called beginning a painting. The canvas waits. Its white rectangular eye follows me. I avoid its accusatory stare. I know I should have started yesterday. I cleaned my lumpy palette, scraped flat the residues of past creations, checked the brushes, flicked their silky manes, ranged them in a neat descending row. I squeezed the metal tubes, meticulously rolled their flattened tails in tidy scrolls. The piles of cadmium, cobalt, red and gold, like tiny rainbow turds, lie waiting for my brush. A snowdrift of zinc white, a mine of lamp black, a sky's worth of cerulean, ultramarine, the hues like poems speaking, soothing, exciting, under the blank canvas stare. You must not mind the sense of violation that will last as long as the virgin surface gazes out, despite your urgent brushstrokes. Tell yourself, patience, this will pass, all will be resolved. But meantime, persist. Little by little, chaos will spawn new images. I'm still thinking about art. This is wandering. Drawing a copy of a copy of a copy of the Belvedere torso by Apollonius in the Crawford Art Gallery, Cork City, I speculate on the working day of the man who modelled for Apollonius when he made the original torso. Did he turn up for the job after a breakfast of goat steaks and grapes with all the pips in, or honeycomb and yoghurt? Did he complete press-ups in an exercise regime, or simply report to the studio after ploughing or stacking grain stooks or hauling fish nets from the wine-dark waves? And were his hands large and hard and brown and soft and kindly when he stroked his wife's hair, held his children? But perhaps there was no man to model for Apollonius, no studio, just a workshop full of sweating artisans, with the archetypes of gods embedded in their minds and muscles, workers who ate dolmades for their tea when they downed their chisels and Apollo drove his flaming chariot into the Aegean Sea. We'll never know. That torso has no hands, it's got no arms. Here's the title poem of the book, Remembering the Future. And it has an epigraph. It's from Alice Through the Looking Glass, Chapter 5, Wool and Water, by Lewis Carroll. And it says, "It's a poor sort of memory that only works backwards," said the White Queen. Remembering the future. If I mourn now, remembering I shall one day lose the warm swell of your chest under my cheek, the comfort of your gentle hands on my body. Like the White Queen, if I suffer now the pain that will grip my chest as I lie here one day in the future, knowing you've gone, perhaps I can live time reversed, all grieving done, no tears to shed, time cancelled, my fingertips still exploring your beloved flesh, you and I in a perpetual present time. But no, my mourning will be of infinite duration. Better not to step through the looking glass. There will be no relief from remembering that you've gone, and no end to the pain. Best to keep my poor one-way memory that holds the presence of you, and remember only our precious years together. And finally, ambition. I want to do it all, I said. I want to travel. I'll visit every country, every continent. I'll travel by camel, by elephant, by rickshaw, by jet ski, by helicopter, by supersonic plane, by yacht, by train, by balloon, by riding on the back of the dodo that I'll find, by my famous scientific expedition, by Arctic sled, by sedan chair, by submarine, by rocket, but not on a horse or a bike. They frighten me. I'll be famous. For my dancing, my painting, my gymnastics, I'll be famous for inventing edible plastics. For my skill at quoits, for my sexual exploits, for my piety, my escapology, my tightrope walking, my fast-talking in Swahili, my playwriting, my copywriting, my bullfighting, my politicking, my fair knitting, my witticisms, my literary criticisms. Yes, I'll do it all, I said. Did I? No.